got some art journal inspiration for you today, and I thought whilst I'm working on it, we could have a chat about inspiration and where ideas come from. But I don't want this to be just a one-way chat, so please do let me know what you do for inspiration, how you get your ideas, and what happens when you're having trouble getting ideas. Have you got any great tips to help us all out when the mojo, is a little bit low? So feel free to share and also have a read through the comments and see what other people have shared as well. Now, before we move any further, I think I better explain what I'm doing here. So for this project, I'm working in my junk journal, and I'm actually working on 2 separate pages today. And this is the 3rd and the 4th project in a series of 4 projects. And if you watched my last video on Sunday, then you would have seen project number 1, where I shared a pattern that I painted, and we had a good old chat about how to practice art, and I shared 5 tips that I like to use to try and improve certain aspects of my art. So if you missed that video, I've put a link to that in the cards and also in the description below. And if you come back on next Sunday, then you'll see project number 2 of this series of 4. So this is a good example of something that I do quite often to keep inspiration and keep ideas flowing, and that's to work on more than one project at the same time. Now, I actually worked on all 4 of these projects separately, sort of one after another, so sequentially. Sometimes I will work in parallel, so I'll work on several projects at exactly the same time. And you saw me do that in that creative exercise video that I shared not so long ago. And I called that one How to Start Mixed Media Art. So go and take a look at that. Again, that will be linked in the cards and also in the description below. But by working on several things at the same time or doing a series of projects together, you can play around with ideas, and just by the action of doing, you're generating more ideas. I mean, you've probably found this yourself. You'll be working on one thing and then you go, ooh, what happens if I do this? Or what happens here? And you started on another page and off you go. And this is particularly useful as well if you're finding you're having trouble with your mojo. If you've got time in your schedule for making art and you're just not feeling it, make the art. Just work and make the art. Even if the art turns out to be really rubbish and you hate it, just do it. And it's not always easy, and if you are going through one of those moments, just be kind to yourself and don't overanalyze it and don't over-criticize it either. Now, I'm a big advocate for inspiration and ideas come from anywhere, because they really do, and I'm sure you know that yourself and you've heard it again and again. And you'll have heard the advice as well to always carry a notebook with you, or a sketchbook, or anything like that. And I do that too, and I'll jot everything down there, from colour combinations that strike me to ideas that might come up, or a quick sketch of a pattern, all of that sort of thing. I even email or message ideas to myself when they pop up and I haven't got anything to write it down on. So going completely electronic is also useful as well. And of course, we all carry around cameras with us on our phones, and I can't tell you how many times I've taken a quick snap of something that I later use as inspiration for an idea or a project. If you can, it's a good idea to try and keep all of these ideas and inspirations together. I have to admit, I'm not that good at doing it, and I have lots of ideas in different notebooks and different sketchbooks all scattered around. And I think one of the things I'd like to do this year is have it a little bit more organised and just try and scrap all this stuff together in one place. So if you have a system for keeping all of your ideas organised, then please do share it, because I know I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure others would too. So as we're talking about collecting together and curating ideas and inspiration, there's another massive pool of ideas and inspiration that you might already have, and that's your own work. So don't forget to look back over the projects that you've done, all of them, the good, the bad. You never know what they might spark in you and where they might lead you to next. So every now and then it's a good idea to have a review of your past work and jot down any thoughts that you have whilst looking through. And sometimes they might also remind you of projects that you wanted to do that you never got around to. And we've all got a long list of those, don't we? Through lots of practice, I've gotten used to listening to that thing inside me that says, yes, I really want to do this, or no, I'm not that interested in this. It's that gut feeling that tells you if something feels right or wrong. Now, for a long time, I didn't really listen to this, or I couldn't hear it, I don't know. But over the years of working more creatively, I've definitely learnt to listen to it a little bit stronger and a little bit better. So don't forget to listen to that voice as well, because sometimes that voice leads you to ideas and inspiration, or at least it can tell you if you're on the right track or not. And if you're lucky enough to already be able to hear it and listen to it and know what it's telling you, then that's great. But if, like me, you've had to kind of train yourself to hear it and listen to it more carefully, then don't forget to do that. Trust in yourself. And another thing related to trusting in yourself, particularly when it comes to idea generation and inspiration, and that is to know when your best time is. So that time of the day that you're at your most creative, and utilise that knowledge and that time. So for me, I'm at my most creative in the morning, and then I have another peak around about late to mid-afternoon. So when I can, and it's not always possible, but when I can, I make sure that those times are when I do most of my idea generation and my creative thinking. Obviously, it's quite hard to balance this with busy schedules. But the better that you know yourself and you know when you are at your most receptive for ideas, then the better you can adapt your schedule to allow you to utilise those times. Now, one of my all-time favourite ways of generating ideas and getting inspiration is by actually doing something completely different. So taking yourself out of the daily routine, doing something new, or maybe something you haven't done for a long time that you enjoy, are great ways of generating ideas. And you know yourself, you've probably solved many a problem when you've not been thinking about that problem and been doing something completely different. So sometimes you just need to walk away and think about something else. And if you're already in the habit of having a sketchbook with you or carrying your phone with you at all times, which obviously we all do, then you've got everything you need if inspiration does strike. And if it doesn't, don't worry about it. Just relax and let your mind wander and get on with something else. So I really hope that these tips and thoughts on idea generation and inspiration are helpful to you, or at least remind you about things that perhaps you've forgotten and would like to reconnect with. So it's over to you in the comments. Let me know what works for you, what doesn't, where you go, and what habits you have to help inspiration to strike, and what things you do when inspiration just isn't striking. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. So you can see these 2 pages are now finished, and they are different, but they have common themes. And I think this comes out of some of my pattern work that I've been doing and sharing over on Instagram. But if you want to see another very different project, then come back on Sunday when I'll share the second project out of this series of 4. So if you're not one of my subscribers already, then please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can catch that next video. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please do like it and share it with your friends. Thank you so much to everyone who's been doing that. I really do appreciate it. Now, if you can't wait for my next video on Sunday, then here's some other art videos that you can watch now. I hope the next few days are super creative for you all, and I'll see you all again on Sunday.